No kids look at that Disney match from Africa. LeBron doesn't have the Disney match.
No, he doesn't. He does not have anything.
Yeah, and you keep telling me that, and then I keep forgetting that. Because
All right, we are all here. We are here, and it is time to begin our policy session. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We'd like to excuse Councilmember Peterson. She is out of town this evening, and so we appreciate all of our scouts for being here tonight, coming, enjoying a wonderful city council meeting with us. We're going to make this as long and boring as we possibly can, just for your benefit. We're going to talk about budget numbers tonight, and if one of you starts snoring, we'll do it again. and this time we'll come to your troop and do it as a field trip for you. So pinch the guy next to you if he starts to nod off.
And it's on camera too.
That's right. And, your mothers at home can see you. So we'll begin tonight's session. We'll turn the time over to Councilmember Bush for our opening ceremony.
Would you rise and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, as we meet here this evening, we're thankful for the opportunity we have of meeting in favorable circumstances in this land of freedom. Thankful for those men and women who protect this country. Please bless them and their families. We're thankful for the employees of this city, for the work that they do on behalf of the citizens and those that come and go here each day. We ask that thou would bless us with thy Spirit as we conduct the business of the city, that we will be able to make the best decisions for the people who live here and the people who come and go here. We ask that thou would bless any of our citizens who are in need or have special things that they need at this time. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kent. We have minutes to approve from the March 27th work session and the April 24th policy session. Council, have you had a chance to review the minutes?
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 27th work session, April 24th policy session as written.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Bush and a second from Councilmember Roper. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes stand. Well, our first item on our agenda tonight is our open comment period, where we allow our residents to come address the council. I don't have any forms for anybody that was here to speak tonight. Is there anybody that was here to address the city council on any issue? If so, we'd like to give you that time. Oh, very good. Well, if you would state your, if you can give that to her, and then if you would state your name and address for the record, since we do record the minutes.
My name is Ruth Kerr, and I'll spell the last name because you won't get it. It's K-J-A-R. You won't get it. My address is 116 East, 2200 South, in Clearfield, obviously. Really quickly, I've been a small business owner out of my home, actually, working with the city of Clearfield for the last 3 years. I came in front of you guys, and you guys helped me get my license to run a grooming shop out of my home. The reason why I had to do it was because it was my garage at the time, so I was able to approach you. At that time, you made requirements and restrictions of what I can and couldn't do, and everything with that, and it was fine at the time. Now, 3 years down the road, I'm getting just as busy, and I was hoping to expand my business just a little bit to kenneling. Now, just really quickly before you say anything or think anything, Are you familiar with the current app called Rover? And I can't tell you how many of my clients do ask me, oh, Ruth, can you please come? They trust me because I'm their groomer, and I see their dogs more than their vets do. And I do get the request to watch their dogs a lot. Now, I've always strictly have followed the rule that was put on me from the city because I didn't want to risk anything with my business. But in the meantime, after researching and learning, people are currently kenneling their dogs illegally in their homes and watching their dogs. Now, I'm not here to poo-poo on somebody to say, oh, let's go get them. Personally, I feel more freedom is better than not. I'm also very conscientious in realizing neighbors and whatnot with that. But this is my argument. A couple of things. One, I'm a current person that's paying my taxes, recording my income. I'm not only licensed with you, the state and federal, I'm also insured. I have insurance, so if anything ever happened to any of my animals under my care, I have insurance to help cover and back me. Currently, these people that are currently just using this Rover app, this is no different than Uber. Uber Walks, have you heard of them? It's another concept. These people have no type of insurance because you have to have a city's license to get insurance. So the risk of people housing these dogs already or animals already are pretty high. My point is also most people that are kenneling or having dogs got to be mindful. These people aren't just allowing these dogs to roam wildly. They're not letting them bark in their backyard, and they're definitely picking up their waste also, versus I can tell you about 5 neighbors right now let their dogs out. They're outside 24/7 barking incessantly. People that are currently kenneling or watching people's animals are mindful of this. I am presenting a business model. I'm going to have my facility much nicer. I'm going to have everything available for them because, of course, I want people to feel comfortable leaving their animals with me. My point is while I'm following the law and I'm following the restrictions that the city has put on me, I feel like I'm at a handicap for this. And I'm hoping, I don't know what the city's currently doing or addressing issues with people that are currently running businesses maybe kind of under the radar, but I feel like people that are trying to be upfront, honest, like I said, making sure they are doing the proper legal things that I need to do are getting penalized. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. We actually have instructed or asked our staff to look into this further already, so they're working on that to kind of determine where that goes and if it's something we need to and ought to change. So we'll keep you posted.
I was going to say, sorry, is this a proper form to address, or is there any paperwork or anything?
Nothing at this point. So much of it's going to be checking with other cities and surrounding as to how they're being handled, so that we don't start a trend, but maybe we're the anomaly at this point. So
I did have a comment on that, though. I don't know if it falls in line to look at it as well, but our pet ordinance of the 3 pets, I think there's a lot of people in the community who exceed that quite a bit. And if we could look into maybe looking how we could better control that with a nuisance of, I know Farmington has a pretty good ordinance on it, if we could look at that as well, along with this.
Yeah, we could queue that up in the same work session discussion. We haven't penciled in a date yet. We need to do a little more research as staff to be prepared for that discussion, but they're very related questions, so if we could tackle those in the same
Great.
item.
Thank you.
thank you, Ruth. Appreciate that. Was there anybody else? Okay, then that'll move us on to item number 2, which is to consider adoption of the tentative budget for the fiscal year 2018-2019 and set a public hearing for June 12th to receive public input on the budget. Lee, we're going to turn some time over to you. This is that point, Scouts, where Lee is speaking, and Scout leaders, you feel free to test them afterwards and see what they learn.
Mayor and Council, I would like to start off by thanking Clearfield City staff for the time and effort that has been put toward this budget. The Budget Committee started the FY19 budget process in January and have contributed hundreds of hours With those hours, we have met with every single department and have looked at all requests. Clearfield City continues to be financially healthy and fiscally responsible. As noted in your packet, we have budgeted total expenditures of about $46 million, with a plan to spend $1.4 million in reserve monies for one-time projects. The city has a balanced budget with a healthy reserve in the general fund. It is staff's recommendation to adopt this FY19 tentative budget and to set a public hearing on the FY19 budget for June 12th, 2018.
Okay.
Is there any questions?
Are there any slides that you wanted to roll through at all?
Okay, so this council assumes that we are accepting the certified rate from the county, and then using a portion of our reserves to kind of bridge the gap. I'll go on record and just say I'm still not there. I know we've had a lot of discussion on this, and I'm just not there. To me, and my background, and as we met with the league last week as well, in talking to the county, I just don't know that it's healthy policy in your best economic times to be using your reserves. That's not when you use your reserves. Your reserves are there for when times get tough. So if we're dipping into reserves in good times to make up a gap, I'm not a fan of that. I think this is a time where we maintain a rate and continue to build that reserve so that it's available to us at those times that we need it. We have an increase coming in our, even though it's less than what it was anticipated, where we budgeted originally a 15% increase in our insurance. We've been able to cut that down. That is still a 10% increase in our insurance costs this year. That alone is an increase. To try to budget based on growth in a city of our size where we really don't have that growth is a little dangerous, and I think it just puts us into a position where in accepting that certified rate and not maintaining the rate, it's lining us up for a future rate increase, tax increase that I'm just not a fan of. So that's my 2 cents. But comments are open for you, and
Lee, so our reserves are currently, or after this, if we adopt the tentative budget, will be at 17.3, if I remember right, or it was a little higher?
Correct. That's actually right, 17.3%.
Lee, I thought with the cut of the Spillman migration, that brought it up to 17.7, if I remember right.
That's what I was looking at today, and that actually might be correct. I was looking at two different slides that were presented with Rich, and so with the more current one, because there was about a $50,000 decrease or cut out of the budget. So yes, it could be the 17.7.
And to further clarify, with the adoption of a tentative budget tonight, these numbers in the tentative budget are just that, they're tentative. There will be some changes, not so much on the expenditure side. I should say on the revenue side, we don't have the final number on property tax, right? We'll get that from the county. On the expenditure side, the numbers that could change, for example, would be health insurance. And as I mentioned in my monthly report, we just barely got that data. We're massaging it. There's probably some room there that helps the fund balance number, and we'll probably be hitting right about that 18% is, I'm just ballparking that, right? But I think that's about where we'll end up after the final decisions on the health insurance renewal.
Okay.
I just really appreciate, Lee, what you said there about the amount of time and effort that the staff has put in. I look at that and I go through this line by line myself, and it hits me about how much work went into doing all those lines. So I really appreciate the effort that goes into that, and tolerating a council who is very engaged in the budget process. So that you're patient and responsive to us. I appreciate that.
Do we know when we will receive the certified tax rate from the county? It says here it hasn't been received.
About mid-May, I think is the typical.
Actually, we hope for it mid-May, but it really doesn't
Oh.
come in until the first week of June. So literally, right as we're about to adopt the final budget.
We
is
would
when
have
get
it by the
numbers.
June 12th meeting.
We should. If we don't have it by June 12th, then we would probably need to schedule, instead of a work session, have a policy session on the 19th of June to adopt the final budget.
Jay, just to add to that, we would still hold the public hearing on the budget on the 12th, because we'll notice that before we have the certified tax rate. But then we meet that requirement, and then how everything falls out after that can change.
We can keep the hearing open until the 19th,
Sure.
correct?
Sure.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I move to adopt the tentative budget for fiscal year 2018-2019 instead of public hearing on the budget for June 12th, 2018 at 7 p.m.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That moves us on to item number 3, which is consider award of bid for the Clearfield Aquatic and Fitness Center pool play structure to CEM. Eric, you want to come up? And we just finished talking about this for a long time in our work session, but for the public's point of view and their understanding, would you kind of give us some background?
Absolutely. As you know, with the parrot tax, we had decided to replace the play structure at the aquatic center and the leisure pool. Because we had underestimated the overall cost and the bids came in higher than anticipated as well, we had gone back to the apparent low bidder, reviewed the process, eliminated a couple of items to reduce that cost, and our recommendation at this point, well, let me back up. The reductions in the cost are associated with removing part of the bid that would include taking water to the fish and the frog. I always want to call them something else, but the fish and the frog, not extending water lines to that. Without doing that portion, we save about $20,000 to $25,000. The total cost for the project would be $201,209, which would be an overall increase in the budget for that project from the parrot tax in the amount of $51,209 to equal that amount for the low bid. We're recommending that council approve that change to the budget from the parrot tax and award that bid to CEM for the installation and replacement of that play structure.
Okay, council, any questions for Eric? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I move to consider the award for bid for the Clearfield Aquatic Center and Fitness Center pool play structure to CEM.
Second.
Is that?
We need to-
Do we need to say the
I'll restate it
amount?
again, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to tell them what we're actually.
Your Honor, I move to consider the award of the bid for the Clearfield Aquatic and Fitness Center pool play structure to CEM.
We really need to show, council member, that it's kind of written wrong in the recommendation. We need to,
Do you mean to approve the?
Yeah,
Approve
move to
the
approve
award
the
of
award,
bid.
yeah, sorry.
For the amount
Move to
of-
approve the
in the
bid.
amount
Make sure you
of-
mention the
In
amount.
the amount of $201,209. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah, okay. All right, now it's theirs.
And do we have a second then?
Second.
Okay. Nancy, you got that? Okay. Any further discussion, council? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous. Brings us to our communication items. Had lunch today with the Job Corps Community Relations Group, and Job Corps is undergoing some changes. It was interesting to talk to their director afterwards. He brought up that they are losing some of the trades that they've been teaching there for a long time. In fact, probably the biggest of those is the culinary arts that's disappearing. So they're experiencing some challenges there. They've been thankful for our support. They are looking for projects within the city, either city projects, you know, for Clearfield City as a whole, or other projects within the city that they can help with. And so, if there's items that you council are aware of, please bring them. I've asked them to get a hold of Eric and Curtis to get some information on ways they can help us. We have our next 4th of July planning meeting tomorrow, so I'll bring you back some further information from there. But everything's just kind of moving forward on that one, and we're in that stage of trying to make sure everything just comes together as it's supposed to, not really adding or taking away, just trying to make sure everything comes together. That said, it has been, well, in the past, we have had scout troops take care of our pancake breakfast. This year, the city is going to be taking care of the pancake breakfast. We have staff lined up to assist in the cooking of pancakes and food of various varieties. It has been requested and suggested that the council participate in that. That could conflict with, well, wouldn't really conflict with the float. They would get us back to the float about 15 minutes before the parade started. They would just shuttle us back on the Razor and get us back here. But it would mean we'd be up there cooking, which frankly I think is a wonderful thing.
It's still in Kent's parking lot?
Yes, it'll still be in Kent's parking lot, so they would just, right about that time that we need to be getting to the float, shuttle us down so that we could be there on time. It's not a requirement, but I'd like to put that invitation out there to you if you'd...
As long as we don't have a bunch of costumes to put on like we did last
and I think we'll probably do T-shirts, or something similar this year, so we'll verify that with Nika, but no, I don't think we'll have any major costumes this year with the float, so...
I think it's a great idea, yeah.
I think it's great.
Okay, well, I tossed that out there to you. We'd love to have you participate, and that might relieve a little bit of staff from...
Yeah, just to add on to that, our thought was, given that this is going to be brought in-house now, we had thought that the department heads could do this, but in doing so, we might miss an opportunity to have the council there with some face time with the public. So once the council is shuttled up here to begin the parade, department heads will continue to operate the pancake breakfast, and we'll be there through the morning as well, helping. But that way it allows you the time to be there with the public.
The other place it might cause some conflict is if you're running in the 5K in the morning. If you happen to be running the 5K, which now you have a reason to not run the 5K.
Not worried about that.
I'm just trying to provide you with an excuse for not running the 5K. But if you were, you might be a little late and sweaty to serve breakfast there. That tends to happen right after the race or the run. Great time the other night at our cultural arts celebration. Thank you to everybody that was involved with that. The police, the fire, our entire staff out there. Fantastic evening, well attended. The plows on, I say Scott's not here tonight, but plows looked amazing. Clearfield High, Wasatch, or South Clearfield, those that had them out there were just amazing job in painting the plows. So I'd like to thank them for that. Had a great time down at the Utah League of Cities and Towns meetings this last week, and learned some good things. So that was helpful. And then again, thanks for the dumpsters out in our Clearfield Celebration Week, our kickoff to that last week. The response I received from folks about the dumpsters down in the south end of town was phenomenal, and now everyone requesting them for their areas up here. Trevor knows where those are going. He has a layout of those, so if you want to, I'm sure you will get questions from your residents, but they're going out this week. So
I already saw one in my subdivision today.
Okay, is it out today? Okay. They'll fill up quickly. Make sure that the residents around you know that once they're full, they're full. We're not taking them away, dumping them, and bringing them back. Once they fill up, they're filled up. So if you need to use them quick. That is all I had. I am out of town next week, so Councilmember Peterson or Mayor Pro Tem Peterson will be taking care of the meeting next week. I'll be in D.C. Councilmember Bush.
Just also the cultural outreach I thought was really good, and enjoyed that. The Utah League Conference a couple of weeks ago, I got some information from that I'd like to share sometime with everybody, maybe a couple of minutes in a workshop. Let's see, what else? Last night, I went to the Clearfield Community Choir concert, the adults and the kids, and it was fantastic. It was really, really good. So all those who work with that group in Eric's department, they thank them a lot, and they really appreciate the city supporting them and the building to practice in. So we need to make sure that we keep that choir and band going, but it was excellent. That's all I have.
Okay, Councilmember Thompson.
I just want to thank Azteca and the Latinos in Action, especially Azteca Store. I know I've talked with the owner quite frequently leading up into this event, and it was a beautiful multicultural event. I want to say Clearfield did a wonderful job. And not only was she excited, but right now the Azteca Store is currently down a little bit of employees, and she's working literally all day long being the owner of the store, and she helped sponsor that event. So I just want to give a big shout out to her because she just had dedication for the city and for the residents of our city, and I appreciate her. Other than that, I was just completely encouraged by that event. I'm glad that our residents feel like they're welcome. I mean, I think that was, for me personally, a number one thing. And when I walked around talking to the residents, that was the number one thing. They feel welcome. They feel like they belong. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Councilmember Roper.
Just a couple things. While everybody was at the league meetings, Councilmember Peterson and I went to the Davis Education Gala, which we had a great time there, and hosted the principals from our elementary schools. So we had a wonderful time there. They helped raise funds to help children in our community who don't necessarily have the needed food at home to nourish themselves, so and to help combat homelessness in our community. So it was a great cause. Also wanted to thank the Youth Commission for their help at the cultural event. They enjoyed doing that and helping out and spreading the message of the Youth Commission. On Sunday night, I had the great honor to recognize 3 scouts who earned their Eagle rank. Kelson Gardner, Jeremy Sattler, and Akaika Van Haften. It was a great event. They brought in a live eagle and everything. So, and I was right on the front row with the eagle. So it was a big bird, but what a special honor it was for them, and a noble goal for them to earn their eagle. They were great young men who started the scout program all together and were able to earn their eagles together. So it was great.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Councilmember Phipps.
I was down at the league meeting too, when with Councilmember Bush, I'd write up my notes and pass on some things. I thought it was a really worthwhile thing. Got to spend an hour in the freeway in Lehigh on the way back.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
At least, yeah.
So, that wasn't in the plans, but. And it was great. Take Pride Day. It's an exciting thing to be a part of, and with the council, the mayor and member of the council got together and threw dirt and threw sod, and so it's
great time.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Very good. A couple of things I forgot to mention, then I'll give staff a little bit. We did yesterday, both Councilmember Bush and I attended the first of the Clearfield Syracuse Communities That Care Coalition meetings. This is a group of residents, professionals, Davis Behavioral Health, and so forth that are tackling the biggest issue is opioid addiction and dealing with that. They did bring up during that meeting that our last drop, I guess, of bringing your anonymous drop off of your prescription medications off was an outstanding success. They are now working with all of the pharmacies. They have a product that they are using, and for the pharmacies to begin handing out with every opioid prescription, and it is a powder that sits in a vial, and you put your remaining medicine in there, pour some water into it, and it solidifies so that it can no longer be used. It's non-toxic. It's a simple, easy thing, and they can then be just thrown out in the trash because they can't be used anymore. So they'll be rolling that out with all of the pharmacies locally, and so they've asked for our help with that as well. But great group to work with. Also,
I think we're going to try to expand that from just Clearfield, Syracuse.
Yes, we're going to be
communities.
correct. We'll be bringing in all of our zip code in there, at least bringing in Clinton and Sunset and West Point to meet with us as well. Received an invitation from Faith Baptist Church in Layton. They're doing for you guys to know as well, a God Bless America service on July 1st at 10:30 in the morning that they've invited us to. So if it's something you'd like to attend, just let me know, and I'll get them all of our names so that they want to be able to recognize elected officials at that point. So, staff, JJ.
Wanted to let you know, if you're not already aware, next Tuesday, the 15th at noon, in our multi-purpose room, we'll be holding our community leader luncheon. This is a monthly event. The first one was last month, so this will be our second. You're welcome to attend, not required, but please spread the word. Same goes for the viewing public and those in the audience. This is meant to be an opportunity for those who are connected in the community to come get their answers to any questions they might have about what's going on in the city, and then be able to relay that information to their neighborhood or their peers or whomever they associate with. And last month's went well. We expect to gain momentum the more we keep doing this. So that's next Tuesday, the 15th at noon on in the multipurpose room. And Trevor has an RSVP form. If you need that link, he can get that to you. Also, I sent out the monthly report just earlier this afternoon. Hopefully you get a chance to review that information and let us know if you have any questions at all. As far as the Celebrate Clearfield events, kudos to Trevor and a whole slew of staff, but it was really Trevor's idea to take these variety of events and draw them together with some connection within 1 week time frame. So we kicked it off with Arbor Day and then the Summer Blitz down at the Aquatic Center. Take Pride in Clearfield the next day after, as many of you have mentioned, painting the plows and culminating with the community outreach event. It was a fantastic week and a lot of time and effort put in by staff from all departments to make that work, and we're glad that you were satisfied and pleased with that. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to our staff and our first responders who saved a child from a near drowning last night at the Aquatic Center. Grateful that didn't turn out any worse, and our concern does go out to the family there, but it looks like the child should be okay. And I think that's all I have.
Okay. Nancy?
Well, we're planning on a work session next week. We'll have policy session the following week. Right now, we don't have a work session scheduled for May 29th, which is the Tuesday after Memorial Day, but that could change. We'll keep you posted on that. And then we have scheduled something every Tuesday in June, just so you know. So.
Okay. Any other staff reports? Okay, if not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn as the City Council and reconvene as the Community Development and Renewal Agency.
I move to adjourn as the City Council and adjourn as the CDRA.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Kent, we turn it over to you.
Welcome to CDRA meeting, everybody. Are you excited to be here?
You weren't falling asleep with the budget?
Yeah.
May. No.
We have minutes from the April 10th session to be approved. Has everybody had a chance to read those?
I'll move to approve the minutes from our April 10th, 2018 policy session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have, the next item is to consider the adoption of the CDRA tentative budget for fiscal year 2018-19, set a public hearing for June 12th, 2018, to receive public input on the budget. This is the same budget, but part of it is CDRA money, so we have to do that with the CDRA as well as the council. So, are there any questions on that?
Chair, I almost called you council member. Chair Bush, I could take just a second to recap the CDRA budget. It is fairly simple in terms of revenue. Total revenue is 2.23 million. Most of that, well, I'd say probably 99% of that is from tax increment. So that tax increment total is 2,200,733 is the budgeted amount. The remainder would be mostly interest earnings. And then on the expenditure side of the equation, we have about $772,000 that is dedicated to repayment of the bonds for the Aquatic and Fitness Center. Another couple $100,000 that's transferred to the city's general fund for administration of the CDRA. And incentive payments, we only have two that we're scheduled to make in FY19. The large one is to Orbital ATK in accordance with the agreement that we have with them for the job creation in conjunction with their project of expanding their operations. We estimate that that incentive payment to Orbital ATK would be about $759,000. The other incentive payment is for the project across the street, City Center, and we estimate that the increment generated there and the incentive associated with that increment would be about $40,000. So that's a summary of the CDRA budget, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Any questions for JJ? Any other discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the CDRA tentative budget for fiscal year 2018-2019 and set a public hearing on the budget for June 12th, 2018 at 7 p.m.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is all we have, and make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn as the CDRA and reconvene as the City Council in a work session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
And, and for my son that's watching this at home, apparently the Jazz play better on the road. So
Well, we always say.
we'll see how that goes. I don't want to jinx that, but good grief. Down by.
When we're talking like one of eight.
Yeah, it was 50%.
Figured out they could guard it.
Watching it on here, everyone's testing me, everything's out here. I got it on here.